Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
Hello. Today we have with us Nava Simkah. And when I tell you, I am so excited about this conversation because it's all up in my wheelhouse. Nutrition.
I was just about to say, I'm going to say for the benefit of the audience, they've never met, but Teresa thinks this is her sister. I mean, I know where this is going.
Listen,
I know where this is going.
Yeah.
This is all her stuff.
So Nava is a certified nutritionist and health coach, and she helps women develop better eating habits through faith-based health and nutrition coaching. Nava also hosts a podcast titled Loving My Temple. I love that title, Nava.
So do I.
Welcome to Earrings Off.
Yes.
Let's just get right into it. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time. I'm going to start. So you have to share with us all about Loving My Temple.
Okay, so Loving My Temple, it really is just that. It's teaching us, especially women in the Black community, people of color, we're kind of taught not to love our temple properly, right? Yeah. A lot of us were getting back into that body conscious, okay, I love my size. But we forget that the food that we put in our bodies, and even the stuff we put on top of our bodies, that's all part of loving our temple. We're not going to, if you really love yourself, you're going to take a look at those ingredients and understand what's going on in your food, in your skincare, hair care, and what it does specifically for us. And then as, women of color, we also have to be mindful that a lot of the things that are in the air that will affect us, or things that aren't in the air. For example, when you're outside, we're actually made to have vitamin D. We need it for our overall health care. Mm-hmm. And without it, that's why you see higher rates of depression for us during this time, because we're not getting enough sun, especially from the climates that we're at. These are all like little things that add up to the Loving My Temple brand. It's just focusing on what can we do to show more self-love for us. Mm-hmm. And that starts with the mindset, how we guide ourselves spiritually, as well as the food that we eat.
Wow. Okay. Nava, so why did you decide to become a nutrition and health coach?
So the start was just got married, 23, and we were pregnant with our first daughter. I was like, I'm going to be the best mom in the world.
Yeah, we all say that.
So we're like, okay, I'm going to get this right. Cloth diapers and all that stuff. And cloth diapers still hadn't happened yet. But I was determined to be the best version of myself because I was already going to school at that time for massage therapy. This was like after going to college, and I was originally for Christian counseling at that time. I went to massage therapy and I'm learning more about health, and I became interested in that. So I was just trying to be a better mother. And then my spiritual life changed and I became Messianic Hebrew. And I was just like, okay, so biblically, what does this look like? What should I do? How did the ancient Hebrews eat? And it started there in our own personal way of healing to really understanding that, okay, my people are still suffering. Slavery kind of did us in. And then, we got into just, even though we've made progression in America, for example, we still struggle with the eating side of it because we were taught to eat to survive instead of eating to rejuvenate. Right. And so it just kind of came upon my heart, I was praying to the Father. I was like, well, what can I do? And then he just kind of really put it upon me to say, okay, we need to help each other to really become one again. And that comes from just loving ourselves better. Because when we have more self-love, it's easier to love others. So it just kind of became a mission to love on others and share what I've learned to help my sisters.
Well, and you know what, Nava, I loved your point about from slavery, and we were taught, we had to eat to survive. Mm-hmm. But also, I think another part of that is not just survival. It's we took take great pride in our culture of
Yeah.
being able to make something out of nothing. But
Yes.
Yeah.
those nothing
Yeah.
ingredients may not be the
Yes.
best ones
My
for us. But
grandmother was known.
we,
She
yeah,
take a
we
twig and some leaves and made
exactly,
the
and
best
some
meal ever.
exactly we were taught that. That's part of who we are, our
Yeah.
ingenuity. But we've got to move from that place so that we do start looking at, okay, yeah, that's great to be able to create that,
Yeah.
but what can you do that's still healthy, that actually is good nourishment for the
Right.
body? So
And you're
yeah.
so right in that because I mean we could still make nothing,
Yeah.
something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And and we got the spice game down pat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just a matter of understanding that it doesn't have to be something unclean to do
Right.
that.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, I love
Absolutely.
that point as well. It's just
Yeah.
we may have pride in that, but we can evolve it.
Yeah. I hear you.
Right. Thank you for that. You mentioned that it kind of started with yourself and you wanting to be the best mom that you could be. Tell us a bit about a client that touched your heart and tell us about a client that helped to shape or change your practice.
So it's interesting because I was trying to think about like the people that I was blessed to help, and what it really came down to was actually the people that I didn't get a chance to help, and one of them being my grandmother.
Mm.
She was truly a matriarch for our family and was the glue, but she was the catalyst of my business moving forward because she actually passed away because two medications negated themselves, and it was
Oh
Oh.
my.
for high blood pressure. And learning this information and how it affected her, and how she being a nurse, she knew that it was pretty much like a death sentence because the type of medicine that she was on, especially when you have an enlarged heart, you get max 15 years life
Mm.
afterwards.
Wow.
So she knew it. She was a praying woman, mother of the church. She knew it was her
Yeah.
time and she was planning for it. But obviously, it was heartbreaking because, we all loved her.
Yeah.
In knowing that maybe I could have helped in some way, even if it was just elongating her life, maybe even 6 months, how much of a difference that would have made, how much more time we would have had to get the goodbyes in and really love on her. And that was the catalyst of like, okay, this
Yeah.
business needs to get moving because we can lengthen the lives of so many people just from natural means in time, working off of those medications that slowly kill us. And then understanding, the more study I go into herbal medicine and the herbs that we can literally find in our grass that will help us to
Right.
get off the medication, but not just that, but it has more records of being safe and less people dying using it correctly than mainstream medicine, for example. So that really was the
That.
catalyst.
Wow.
Mm.
Talk to us a little bit about clean eating. When you use
Sure.
that term, what does that mean?
I do love that term because
Mhm.
it has so many people questioning, like, what does that look like?
Mhm.
And a lot of it is, so when you're on a commercial, when you look at commercials, for example, you see the products is like, oh, this is healthy and this is good and this and this does that. But then when you go to the store and you look at the product and you turn it around, there are so many ingredients. And a
Mhm.
lot of those ingredients are made to be addictive because they actually have scientists that have grown human taste buds to test
Mhm.
about, okay, how addictive is this? So
Mhm.
they put that in their products. They use wording to make it sound good, but really it means other things. For example, when you see low fat, what that means is they took the fat out that you actually need, but they up the sugar, which actually causes fat. When those things, when you
That's right.
see that, and people are like, oh, well, I use this dressing, it's low fat, or I use this dressing, it's, low calorie. That is not clean eating. That's just using marketing to buy a product that tastes good but isn't good for your body. When Love in My Temple looks at clean eating, it's what are the ingredients? Is it simple ingredients? When you look at it, do you understand everything that's there, or you're not confused by it? Like when it says natural flavors, well, what natural flavors are there? Because
Mhm.
it could be a gland that is just under a beaver's anus. They use that for raspberry and strawberry flavor stuff,
Mhm.
or it could
That's
be other
right.
means. You don't know. What I help people understand is clean eating is you understand all the ingredients in your food, on your food. You're eating fresh ingredients, or at least you're getting as fresh as possible. Nowadays, especially with all these companies that deliver food to your doorstep, you can get clean, fresh, organic food. It doesn't even have to be organic in some cases. Some cases, depending on the vegetable or the fruit, you can get conventional. That's what you can afford. But there are companies that make organic super affordable. So why not? So this is really what we focus on. Speed eating is like, do you understand the ingredients? If you don't, put it back and run.
Okay. That's simple, right?
Pretty much.
It's
that simple.
it really is. You can make all those things yourself, right? Like
yes.
you mentioned the salad dressings, you can make your own.
Yes, it's
you don't
so
have to have all of those additives. What you have to do is learn to love the taste of food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once you fall in love with the
Good
chemical
stuff.
foods, you don't understand what real food tastes like. So you kind of trick your brain thinking it's nasty. It's like, it's not nasty. You just have to.
Well, you really kind of don't trick your brain. Like you said, it's those additives and chemicals that are put there to make us addicted to the taste of processed foods.
Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about the value of eating clean when pursuing health and wellness.
The value of clean eating when pursuing health and wellness is when you're eating clean, pure ingredients and you're not putting stuff in your body that's causing inflammation. It doesn't matter if you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, get off medication. Your body is designed to put itself back in order if you just give your body what it needs. But you can't do that if you're giving your body a lot of chemicals and addictive additives and sugar, which is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So your body is just going to constantly seek it, but it also lowers your immune system, which makes you sick. You can't fight things off. And it's just all the processed foods. What they do is that they hinder your body from doing it what it's supposed to do naturally, which is rejuvenation. Clean eating is critical to hitting any goal that you want to do with self-discipline at the same time. But, clean eating is it's important.
So Nava, can you share some actionable steps? I mean, make people understand what they can do to build a healthier family.
Sure. So first things first, don't panic.
That's a big one. Yeah, because you hear this, it's like it's a lot. It's a lot. Yes. Yeah.
It's so much to process, but you have to take it one step at a time. However how old the listener is, that's how long you've been eating this way. So don't think it's going to change overnight. So the first things first is start small. Most people don't get enough water. So making sure you get enough water as clean as possible is huge because it helps your body just flush everything out. It's something that you can do with the whole family, even with the kids. You can allow them to add cucumber to their water and give it a taste, or, adding fruits to their water to make it somewhat flavored and let them try because they get more excited when they're able to be a part of the process. Another thing is slowly changing your snacks. So finding alternative things, trying new things that fit you, or just baking. You can bake as a family and make something new, and the ingredients will be cleaner, and just allow that process to grow. Continue with taking out something that's not so great and putting something better in, trying to eat some new fresh fruit or vegetable at a time, and give your body time to adjust those new ingredients. And then the last thing I would recommend is, if you can avoid fast food, do it. Some of the most toxic or addictive ingredients are in fast food. Like, for example, Chick-fil-A, their burger bun has 22 to 23 ingredients in it.
Wow.
So that's just the bread. And bread should have max 5 ingredients.
Right. I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's good, solid information.
It is.
So, yeah.
If you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to stop eating Sour Patch Kids. Honestly, at 18, that was like the height of my diet being terrible, because I was old enough to buy my own food. I had a job. And, if I could just tell her to really just read the ingredients and ask the questions like, what is this? Don't just focus on it tastes good, but you're worth so much more. You're more valuable than rubies, right? That's what scripture says.
Mhm.
So look at
Oh,
that,
yeah.
think about how wonderful you are and how amazing that you were created. And think about, if you think about that clearly, then you'll understand that this food, these candies, because I was a candy holic,
Mhm.
they're not worth
Yeah.
it. They taste great, but they're just not for me. And drink significantly more water.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
good. Good stuff.
What's the most important thing that you've learned in your life thus far? And what was your life like before learning it? And then what's it been like since you learned this most important thing?
Whew, that's a doozy. Goodness, when it comes to nutrition, the most important thing that I've learned is that we were taught a lot of lies, surely for marketing, right? And with that, our grandparents were taught these lies and they taught it to us in the goodness of their heart. And in learning that, that transformed how I look at food completely. Because I don't fall in love with fancy marketing or looking good food on Instagram or commercials anymore. I'm constantly thinking about, okay, well, if it has a commercial, a lot of times when it has a commercial, it also has a lot of chemicals that shouldn't be in there.
Mhm.
So I question it beforehand. My life since then, my family has been the healthiest that we've ever been. I used to suffer from chronic sinus infections from either allergies or just catching everything under the sun, not realizing that my immune system was compromised, not realizing that a lot of the allergies I had that I thought was just hereditary was actually is only hereditary because my family ate the same for
Mhm.
decades.
Mhm.
So by understanding the marketing and the lies that we were told just for marketing purposes, I can really transform my life, my family's life, and the generations to come because now they're going to be educated in what's real food and going back to where our grandparents, great grandparents used to do things, which is making it from scratch. It's not as hard as we were made to believe. We just got to keep trying and doing the trial and error. And that's the main thing I could think of on nutrition, even though there's a million major things that
Mhm.
changed my life.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And it is. That's very
Right.
important.
Yeah.
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 I like that you're sharing about marketing because that's something that I share too when I talk to people about nutrition. Like the way that we're told that you need to eat eggs and bacon and sausage for breakfast. Like it can be why not a salad? And the other point that you made about food and it looking good and
Mhm.
the social media, how people post these things. I recently did post a blog post on my lunch. I looked at my lunch one day and I'm like, wow, it really doesn't look like much.
Right?
But nutritionally, it was a serious powerhouse, right? So it was homemade, fresh from the farmer's market, turnip greens and mustard greens with sweet potato cooked in it
Mm.
and seasoned with garlic and onions and no
Mm.
oil, right? And it
Mm.
was delicious. It didn't look like much, but I took a picture of it and I posted it.
Sometimes you just
So
gotta
I'm
tell
not
them
sure if
subliminally that
anybody
this is great.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anybody at all liked it, but yeah, that's a really good thing to share. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So tell us about 3 books that you'd recommend and why.
Sure. I actually have 3 books sitting next to me because I read them all the time. But one is by Dr. Mark Hyman, or Hyman, I think it's pronounced his
Oh
last
my
name.
goodness.
But it's Food, What
He's
the
one
Heck
of my
Should I Eat?
favorite.
I
Yeah.
love him so much. I love this book and I recommend everybody getting it because it really does make it simple to understand what you should actually eat And then he also goes into what typically is in food and how it's processed. So it helps you not make the
Oh
same
yeah.
mistakes over and over and over. The other author that I
Mhm.
love is Vani Hari. She's also called the Food Babe. She has a website and all that. But she has a book called The Food Babe Way, which is basically helping people transform their diets within 21 days, but then also understanding ingredients in food. And then her other book,
Mhm.
Feeding You Lies, where she digs into the marketing of, you know, how they say things and what that actually means, as well as the hidden terminologies that they use, like natural flavorings or natural orange flavor or something like that. She breaks it down so you can see it. And then she tells you not only statistics, but she gives you like where you can research it for yourself, and encounters that she's had with big pharma, big companies that have honestly attacked her a lot online and tried to silence her, and how that
I'm
works.
sure. Yeah.
They often
Ooh, I
demonize
like her.
people that tell the truth. Oh, I adore
Yeah.
her.
Oh
I've known of
yeah.
her since 2013 and she's awesome.
Mm, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna look her up. I haven't heard of her.
She's,
Yeah.
you can't go back once you read her book. You really can't.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Nava, that was the last of the questions. Are there any parting words or comments that you would like to leave with our listeners?
Yes, I mean, outside of thank you for listening in,
Mm.
I I really want to challenge everyone to just do the education for yourself in nutrition and focus on your mindset, right? You know that you're special and unique. And if you don't know that, please know that. I don't have to meet you to know that you're special and unique. So take that time in loving yourself and that self care by educating yourself on what you're eating, and continue your journey by baby steps along the way to be the healthiest version of yourself. That's like the best thing you can do for you.
Oh, wow. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.